I have a question for you. What do you think the most confident version of you would wear? I have been talking about this more and more on social media, but something that has played a huge role in my own growth in the past few years especially has been using my personal style to tap into the woman that I want to become. Hang with me. I know this is a little far-fetched, but I promise you this actually works. And I've been talking about it more and more, and it's been really fun to see how many people are taking on this challenge. We created an actual challenge out of it, #StyleYourHigherSelf. So I thought it was actually worth diving into a little deeper on the podcast to share just how powerful this simple idea really can be, that how we dress and how we present ourselves to the world can actually be a powerful tool for tapping into the energy of the person that you want to become. Welcome back to the show. I am so excited to share a little bit more behind the scenes of this I guess thing that's become an Instagram challenge and a fun little way to engage with our community, all about styling your higher self. But before we do that, I want to remind you that the early bird tickets for Powerhouse Women 2020 are officially live, and we are counting down to September 12th. I can hardly wait, and I also feel like it's going to be here before we know it. So if you know that you want to join us in Arizona for, I'm biased, but it literally is the best girls' day of the entire year, then you're going to want to go to powerhousewomen.co. All the info is there. You can get your tickets. Early bird rates expire soon. So don't wait. We firmly believe that the event starts when you register for it. So even though the event isn't taking place till September, don't be one of those procrastinators that waits to get your ticket, because once you register, you actually do step into that new reality of connecting with like-minded women, of getting out of your own way. You have made it official that this is the year you're going to invest in yourself. And I think that's a really powerful sign to yourself and to the world around you that it's time to level up. So I cannot wait to meet you there. I have a free hug waiting for you. Just, you've been warned, I'm a hugger. So this actually kind of ties into the topic that I wanted to go over today, which we've been talking about on social media. If you don't already follow us on Instagram, I've been talking about it more recently on my personal Instagram, which is linked in the show notes too. But we'll be talking about it more and more, even in the Powerhouse community and on our Instagram page, because this simple idea is something that has completely changed my life. I'll share photos, if I haven't already. When this episode goes live, I'll share them again, just of the change that I have made in the physical outward appearance. But it goes so much deeper than what a photo can show. Because what I've actually done is I have become obsessed with tapping into the energy of the woman that I want to become. And I think that our style and what we wear and, the outward appearance can actually be a really powerful way to tap into that and actually start to embody it even before we feel like we are that person. So I shared this story on Instagram a few weeks ago, I guess at this point, about how I, growing up, would label myself as the vanilla sister. So I have this younger sister who is literally my style icon. She is incredible. She's like one of those people who can put on the most random outfit and she just looks awesome. And I always admired that. But what I would also do is I would compare myself, right? And I would look at, well, wow, she's really stylish. So I guess that means that I'm not, right? I don't look like that. So I guess that means I'm not stylish. And I literally labeled myself with this self-imposed label of vanilla. And it took a long time, like many years, for me to like get to the point where I actually, I was like achieving more in my life. It was actually around the time that I had just finished writing my book, Powerhouse Woman, and I had changed so much on the inside that I actually felt like the outside didn't match. I don't know if you've ever done that. Like, you've evolved so much as a human, but like you walk into your closet and it's the same clothes as the person, like a year ago would have worn. And I remember like having this feeling. It wasn't so much that feeling that I've totally had, which is like, oh, I have nothing to wear. I don't know what to wear. It was actually more a feeling of like, whose clothes are these? Or when I would look at in the mirror, like how I styled my hair, my makeup, I just felt like, wow, this just doesn't match the growth that I've experienced on the inside. And way back, if you've listened to some of the earlier episodes, I interviewed my girlfriend Angela, who has a whole program built around this. And her program was actually what like taught me how to ask these different questions and actually look at what labels I was assigning myself. And what I was telling myself I could wear or couldn't wear, instead of asking myself better questions like, what would the most confident, the most bold, the most fierce version of myself wear? And so through her program and just like some deep inner work, I really started to play around with this and started to play around with this concept that I do believe that transformation often is coming from the inside out. But there's also something to be said for our outside, our outer appearance, being a powerful way to tap into what we want to experience in terms of self-confidence or, a different energy, more abundance even. And so it really had me start to look at the labels that I assigned myself and how I had full, complete control over changing those labels if I wanted. And it took some like ninja level self-awareness, like, let's be honest. But the more I started to look at these labels that I assigned myself and actually step back and go, okay, does that work for me? Like, does that actually work for me anymore? Do I want to be vanilla? And the answer was no. It was like a hell no. And then to realize that just like I made up that, term for myself, or made up that, that version of who I was, I could make up something that actually empowered me and start to ask better questions like, well, okay, what would this bold version of myself do? Or what would this like powerhouse woman do? And what would she wear? What would she choose to do? And so here's kind of like the point of all this. And then I'm going to talk about just some really, really tangible ways that you can start to play around with it for yourself. It was this idea that instead of waiting until I felt like this new identity in order to claim it, I actually claimed it first. And then I started to dress and act and think like I imagined that version of myself would. So instead of waiting until I felt like this next level of confidence, I stepped into like claiming that identity for myself and starting to wear things that maybe got noticed a little bit more, just stood out a little bit more versus like vanilla, which was very much like, I want to blend in and I don't want to, I don't want too much attention on me. Nothing wrong with that. I think it's all a matter of like what we feel we're being called into. And I felt kind of uncomfortable by this idea of like truly being seen. So I knew that there was something for me to learn in stepping into that discomfort. So for you, what label are you now realizing maybe you've assigned to yourself? And maybe it has to do with your style, maybe not. It actually could just be something about who you are or what you do or don't wear. I had this other like breakthrough for myself as we've been talking more about this concept that I don't wear headbands. I know that's like such a trivial thing, but this is going to lead into sharing how you can actually start to play around with this for yourself. You don't have to do a whole style overhaul. You can actually start to incorporate this in small ways. I was at a networking event and my girlfriend had this really, really cute headband on. And I totally should have worn it for this episode because what happened was I said, you look amazing in that headband. I don't look good in headbands. And because we've been in this whole conversation of style your higher self, I heard myself say it. And then I inside something went, well, now you've got to put on a headband and actually test this out. And so, of course, then my girlfriend who's she's one of the most just influential people. She's someone who will be like, you need to do this, this, and this. And you'll be like, yes, of course I do need to do that because you said so. So that kind of woman. And she literally reaches over. We were at this boutique. So there were headbands literally right there. And she's like, here, this one would look so cute on you. And I realized okay, cool. If I'm really going to lean into this and what I believe to be true, which is that, we can create a new reality for ourselves. I was like, cool, I'm actually going to buy this headband. I'm going to take it home and wear it tomorrow. And you know what? When I went back and actually challenged what I thought that I could pull off or what I couldn't, it actually has nothing to do with the flippin' headband. It has everything to do with these labels that we assign ourselves, what we believe to be true, and challenging that to find out if that works for us or not. And hey, what happened with me might happen with you. I found out that my higher self is totally a headband person. I realized that, okay, wow, I'm limiting myself, and where else am I doing that in my life? Because here's the thing, at the end of the day, this whole concept of styling your higher self has nothing to do with the clothes. It's 100% about us giving ourselves a new experience, creating some new energy, and just paying attention to how that feels or what it gives us access to. So I want you to just pause for a second and think about what label in your life has reached its expiration date. Do you give yourself the label that you're shy or loud or insecure, or maybe it's vanilla? Maybe you really resonate with that. And if you deep down know that this does not fit who you want to become, I just want to remind you that you're never stuck with it. You can completely reinvent any label that you've given yourself. And such a fun way to play with this is actually to ask yourself, what would my higher self wear? What would the next level version of myself or the next level confident version of myself wear? And then wear that. So we're having a lot of fun over on Instagram with this Style Your Higher Self challenge. And I want to see your version of this, especially if this kind of makes you uncomfortable and nervous. I want you to take it on. That means that there's something in here for you to gain from participating, especially if it feels kind of like it challenges you or makes you uncomfortable. And I'm going to share just a couple of really, really simple ways that people have been taking this on. So you see that it doesn't have to be this whole style overhaul. It's 100% about creating a new energy around your daily routines. So a lot of people in our community, much like me, work from home. So maybe you don't actually interact with humans. So like me, some days you just don't shower, right? No shame, okay? I am there with you. But I had one woman in our community reach out and said that she's actually 9 months pregnant, about to deliver her baby. So she's also dealing with the fact that only certain clothes fit her right now. But she said, I really wanted to take this on. So I was working from home all day and I just put earrings on. I put these kind of fancy earrings on because I was always saving them for a special occasion. And I just decided to dress up for myself. I wore comfortable clothes, what would work for my body at that time. But I put on a pair of earrings that just made me feel a little bit extra. So I loved that one. Another member of our community, Brittany, reached out and sent me a message saying that she had this awesome leather jacket that still had the tags on it. And she was not sure if she was a leather jacket kind of girl, which totally makes me think of my headband story, right? We all have those things that we're man, that looks so cool on someone else, but I don't know if I can pull that off. And she was going to dinner with her husband and she decided that, okay, the people in this restaurant don't know me or whether or not I'm a leather jacket kind of person. So I can literally decide to be whoever I want. And so she tore the tags off. She wore this jacket. I'm sure we all have that thing in our closet that we're saving for a special occasion, or we still have the tags on because we bought it and we thought something would work out and maybe we just haven't actually stepped into wearing it. So that's another really, really fun way. Sometimes when I'm just working from home, I'll just put red lipstick on, literally for no reason other than it makes me feel differently. I feel a different sense of energy around the work that I'm doing that day. And it actually has me show up differently for the things that I am doing. So again, I'm going to say this till I'm blue in the face. This has nothing to do with the clothes. It's not about what we wear or the labels we wear. It's everything about creating new energy in your daily routine. So I want to know what the answer is when you ask yourself, what would your higher self wear? And actually allow that version of yourself to pick out your outfit for that day or, to go to that event. And then I want you to tag me on Instagram. Share it on your stories, or you can share it on your feed, whatever works for you. And, use that hashtag, style your higher self. But I don't just want to see the photo. I actually want to know, what did doing that experience teach you? Did you feel something different? Are you noticing that it's kind of fun to play around with asking yourself questions like, what would your higher self wear? And I can't wait to see. So you sharing with me helps keep me accountable to stay in this playful energy. And I want to do the same for you. So connect on Instagram. It's just Powerhouse_women. Connect with my personal account, Lindsey Schwartz. And I really, really want to hear from you. And I want to see what your higher self would wear.